episode of
the
Lash
Cuties
podcast. We're your hosts, Jenny
and Mullen, and today we're going to talk about the 5 things we wish we knew as a beginner lash artist.
Yes.
So Jenny, tell me your first one.
Okay, the first one on my list that I wish I knew was placement. The importance of placement. So there's a couple things I feel like that goes into it. One, so whenever I used to place lashes, and I think even sometimes nowadays, it's like the little micro movement of your wrist, I think makes a huge difference, and that's what it ties into the placement. So before, people that are watching on YouTube, I would place the extension, let's say this is the natural lash here, I would place the middle of the extension right on top, and then so the base of the lash extension was kind of sticking up. And it's hard to see that from the top view, from like the view that as a lash artist, what you see, you think that it's fully on correct.
Yeah.
But it really, that tip of the base is not on. And that just messes up your retention fully, you know? And then afterwards, whenever you're brushing out, then that's why they're like, a lot of them pop off. And if they don't pop off right away, they're going to pop off within like the next day or 2 days. So that was my number one. And then another thing that also goes into placement is the direction. When you're placing your lash extensions, I think that's
Hold up,
super...
Can I ask you one thing about about your first one? What did you do to correct it? What did you do to correct that? How do you now know that you're placing the base on?
I'm more mindful on my wrist movement. So before I was just placing it like with my wrist more towards, I guess, the person in front of me, and now I'm bringing my wrist back towards me. So I know that, not crazy, you know what I mean? But now it's enough where it's like, okay, I know that base is going on.
Yeah. And
it's still maybe like another millimeter of the actual base. Not just the base, not just the tip of the base, but the actual extension itself that's actually on the lash, you know?
That's awesome.
So,
do you also look from the side?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get it on there.
Right, yeah.
You know, like what I learned is that it is like literally has all to do with your wrist, like a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So if you do even more curly, you might have to turn them even more towards you. Like the wrist movement, and even on different parts of the eye where it's really hard.
Yeah.
Wrist movement is everything. Those little micro movements.
It really is.
I think so many of us have struggled with that.
I've
I've struggled with that so much.
I feel like even sometimes still, like you're saying, on the harder lashes, it's like it's just not natural to bend your wrist back so much, or you know, a certain way that it's just kind of like, that doesn't feel right. But then when you look at it, it's like, okay, but I placed it good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, let me keep going this way.
And that's when we get better at our skills.
Yeah.
That's it's gonna be more easier every time you do it.
Yeah. And then it helps out with everything else too. You know, it's like, okay, now, and then I think it's so satisfying whenever you do place it and then you just see that glue just like run through. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that was a good one. It's just such a satisfying feeling. But
it's like,
yeah, exactly.
And then you said the direction.
Yeah, the direction too. That is something that I'm very mindful now. And again, it goes for still with the placement of it, but especially whenever you're doing like classic lashes or I feel like more of those natural styles, I think the direction, you're super able to tell if the lash is crooked or going off to the side.
Yeah.
So,
Well, because so much of the lash has to be on the lash in order for retention to be good. You need a lot more glue on the classics than you do on like a body fan, you know? So like that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You'll see if you fuck up.
But and then also it's like, okay, like if you place one right in the middle and it's super leaning towards right, then it's like, oh, that one is standing out like a sore thumb, you know, especially with the classic set. So that's what I'm saying, like the direction, it just makes the set so beautiful, or it can make it look, you know, not so appealing.
Which is a beginner lash artist. I think that's a great one because it goes to obviously retention, how nice the set comes out. I do think that instead of, I see a lot of people write about on Facebook groups and these things that, oh my, like the direction is off. And they're like, how can I get faster? I think what is really important as a beginner lash artist, and I think me and you struggle with it, is that you really just have to nail onto the technique.
Oh yeah.
Your wrist movement, your direction, your application, that is going to be everything. That's how you're going to keep clients, how our lashes are going to come out nice. So for future lash artists or whoever is listening that are beginner lash artists, or even if you advance, the direction is so important
Mm-hmm.
in the application.
Yeah, it really is. So, and again, I mean, if you're doing spikes too, you know, if
Yeah.
you once you get to that level as a beginner, or if you're jumping into it, you know, the spikes they have to be pretty straight, you
Yeah.
know, because those are super the ones that
Yeah.
are standing out. So if that one, you know, again, it's in the inner corner and it's fully facing the person's ear, it's like, okay, that one's gonna look wonky, you know.
it is.
So
Well, we
but-
also have to talk about in another episode about the anime set because
Oh.
it's all about direction and it is hard.
That is hard.
So let's write that down for a future episode.
Okay, tell me, what's your number one?
My number one is really truly understanding retention.
Mm-hmm.
What comes with all of that? It comes with application. It comes with like glue dry time.
Yeah.
It comes with when to
Humidity,
humidity, your room temperature,
Mm-hmm.
how long your glue is good for, what glue to use. There's just so many things that comes with it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I feel like now I'm in a place where like I understand a lot more, but I kind of wish when we started that I really took a class or something like really specifically on retention because it is, I mean, it really is everything. That's our whole business.
Right.
How good do these lashes stay on?
Yeah.
It's like a huge thing. Like people don't want to come back if the lashes don't
I
last.
know. Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And or if you get them all glued together, so then isolation comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So to be quick and easy, because I really feel like in the future we'll also do another episode on retention.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that for now, I as a beginner lash artist, I really wish I invested in either an in-person class or an online class in retention specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And do it again as many times as you need.
So how long do you think it took you to really start understanding retention?
Over a year, I think.
Over the same.
I think I had kind of was starting to understand it around a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like because I was at that point I was still like, what am I doing wrong?
Oh,
Some people I didn't have good retention, and I think I've of course a lot of us just learn as we go, you know, because we don't have those resources. But I do, yeah. I feel like I'm in a much better place now than I was like a year ago.
Oh, for sure. Your retention goes for like what, 2.5, 3 weeks sometimes. So yeah, you're good.
It's getting a lot better.
Oh, I'm telling you, when I see your stories and you're like 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
Also, same with you. Oh, what's the group? Did you use the Live Bay?
Mm-hmm.
Seal deal.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That
one with like a burgundy
cap.
Uh-huh. Me and Jenny both love it.
Love it. Yeah,
it's been amazing. Game changer. But I saw your 2-week retention was amazing.
Yeah, honestly, when she came in, I was like, woo, okay, here we go. Like I was so hyped.
It really looked like it was still full, super full.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's how we want our clients to come in. Even though I know a lot of clients wait until their lashes look like how mine and yours are right now because we haven't don't look at our lashes too hard. We just haven't had time. Okay,
it's been like 3 weeks.
But when you do that, like even when they come in with a really good retention, you still have to pop a lot of them off.
Oh yeah.
And replace, and our fills are not the same as a full set. So I do think I want my clients to know that the retention you had the other day, I want that to be the norm to come in with. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Because then we actually can have them have full lashes all the time, not wonky lashes here and then throwing up gang signs again. You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously.
So.
But then also, I mean, I know we're kind of going off here and stuff, but you know, if someone does go 3 weeks, or majority of your client can go 3 weeks, then it's like that's another week of extra clients that you can have, even more money coming in, you know. So. And
I feel like that retention again, like what we've learned is that some people need to come in less than every 2 weeks. It depends on their lifestyle. Like it depends on a lot of things. Some people can go 2 weeks. Some people can go 3 weeks. And that's just what it is. I think it's in a really individual basis.
Yeah.
I think you need to, depending on the client's lifestyle and how like their retention is with everything, kind of schedule them like based on that.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Because some people, it's like even if their the lash cycle growth is super slow, then it's like I mean they come in and it looks like a full set. You really don't even have to pop off much for the outgrown ones. So it's like okay, easy. They're in and out, no big deal. You know, there's other people that come in 2 weeks on the dot, and it's like that extension is like halfway grown out. You know, it's like okay, you cannot go anything past 2 weeks.
Yep, exactly.
But
all right, tell me your second one.
All right, my number 2 is hybrid mapping. So for me, whenever I started lashing for the hybrid sets, I was always a little confused just because everyone says, oh, it's 50% classics, 50% volume fans. And so I'm like, okay, so do you go one extension? I mean, one classic, one fan, one classic, one fan, you know, and it doesn't have to be that precise one. And then sometimes I would also get lost within the sets, and I start off with classics. And I'm like, okay, let me throw in these fans, and then next thing you know, it looks like a volume set instead of a hybrid set. So the way that I've been doing it, and this is actually pretty recent for me, is that I put an extra iPad on top, and then with that top layer of lashes, I pull out, and then I just put classic lashes on that top layer, and then on that bottom layer or bottom layers, I do volume fans.
Yeah, smart.
Just so it's, even though it's like still 50-50, or someone has a lot of lashes, and it's like, okay, maybe not, it might not be 50-50 every time, it's like, okay, it's okay if it's 60-40 or whatever, so, but regardless, I do like putting the fans on the bottom layers, just because it does create a dark lash line, which everyone likes a dark lash line, but
everybody, person
no one will complain about that, but people will complain if there's a lot of volume up top, you know. Yeah. And again, I think that can make the hybrid set look like a volume set if there's a lot of fans on top layers, So that's why I like doing the classic, oh my gosh, classic lashes on the top layer or top layers if they have multiple layers. Yeah. And then again, fans on the bottom, and I think it just creates such a true hybrid set.
I love that. I tend to do, but I do like having classics on the top because I like to do more wispy. Yeah. That's more my style. Right. But I try to do like a few passes of each, so I don't count. That's too much to keep up with me. Yeah. I like to do a few passes of each. Sometimes if they want just a very light hybrid, still have it full but very light, I tend to do the same as you. Maybe do just the bottom layer, just do maybe 2-3 passes, and then do mostly classics. Yeah. So that one is very light, but yeah, I kind of gauge it. Again, I don't know if it's always 50-50, but I like to do that because it's just easier for me to think like that instead of counting or anything.
No, I agree. And I've heard some people that count. I don't know how you deal with that, because there's no way. My mind's already. Yeah. That's too much. I feel like when I'm lashing, I like to zone out, but also know what I'm doing. But also it's like, okay, kind of like a mental break, or I can think of other things, and absolutely, to keep counting. It's like that seems like a lot. So if you do that, I'm not going to knock it or anything, but that seems hard. So
I would say I love hybrid sets are my favorite to do.
Are they?
Because I love the wispiness. I love that you can do so much with it. And I truly don't mind doing if someone wants a little bit extra, a little bit less. I don't want to give them a volume if they do a hybrid. Yeah. That's just then get a volume. But I like that I have a little bit of wiggle room depending on their needs. Yeah. But I also like that I can make it really wispy. I don't know. I really like it. I think that's the most fun set to me.
Really? Nice. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I like how they look. I think it's really pretty, just because most people, I think everyone looks good in a hybrid set, so. Same. And it's kind of in that middle area where it's again, if you like a natural style but want to bump it up a little bit more, cool, go with the hybrid set. Or if you're super volume girly, but then you want to lighten it up a little bit, hybrid set's a good style to go with. So.
Absolutely.
But,
well, let's jump to my second one.
Yeah, tell me.
You guys have heard me say this in all episodes, but I wish I knew how to make fans early on.
Yeah.
I'm over 2 years in now, and I adore all the handmade sets, and I want to learn the skill. I want to know it because it's such a big part of lashing. Yeah. It's an art. It's truly an art, and I do feel like I wish I knew. I wish again I would take a class or something, maybe in person, or started just practicing making fans early on. Because again, I do think that. For me now, I'm used to making full sets in an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. And even the thought about doing a set in 3 hours, which I know when you do handmade fans, is completely normal for most artists.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know how you do it faster, but that transition is a little hard for me. And learning that now, I feel like it would be easier for me to have learned that earlier. So if you want to learn how to make fans, do it early. If you're a beginner, if you're thinking about it, just get through it early. That way you have all the skills you need. But you can also, again, we've talked about this, I have built a whole business on just pre-mades. You can do that as well.
Yeah, and I agree. I know it's not on my list, but it definitely should be my number one, because, it's a...
But you did it. You actually did it. And you were so good at it. You're still doing it.
The process of it, So.
But you've used so many hours just doing it.
Yeah. I know,
I
but
know.
it's
Proud
like,
of you.
yeah,
I'm
thank
proud
you.
of you.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But still, it goes back to like even me now. It's like I'm in the process of it, you know, and it's like instead of just like Mullen is saying, you know, if maybe 2 years ago when we started, then it's like, oh yeah, going through it again back then instead of now. Then it's like now I could be like, oh, now I can fan as I'm going and finish a set within 2 hours, you know, then it's like, oh girl, okay, cool. You know, then it's like, you're good, you know, but now it's like, again, it's kind of just, it just makes the learning process just kind of longer because you have to relearn a new skill, even though you've been in the industry for a little while now. So
just be patient.
Yeah, be patient with it. So, but.
And you can totally make it. If you're new to it, making fans, you can do it. It really, truly is just practice. And it takes 10,000 hours to be a master at something. So honestly, just keep doing it.
Yep. 18 minutes a day, guys.
Yeah. It really is not. Man, can you imagine if we just.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you.
Any skill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with fanning, for a long time, I was like, I cannot get this. It was so frustrating. Yeah. And then I think I mentioned this on another episode as well, but I think for about 2 months, it was August and September. I fully dedicated those months to just every day or majority every day to just practice my fanning. And actually, it was pretty quickly when I started to notice a difference where I was like, okay, I can see, okay, now it's fanning, but my base isn't good or something. But it's like, okay, you're not going to get it, you know, in a second. But it's like, okay, I see one part's improved. Now let me work on the other part. Now let me work on the next part, you know. But regardless, it's like you're improving. And then with the 2 months, I'm like, okay, I got it. And then now I'm just focusing on different parts of it. But it's like, okay, yeah, I can pick up some fans and actually pinch and get it to fan out. So
tell me quickly. I have 2 questions for you. Okay. I'll say both of them and you can answer. Okay.
Rapid
First
questions.
of all, is which method do you like the best? Which one's your favorite? And do you want to learn the other methods of making fans?
Okay, so the method that I prefer is the pinching method. And the only reason is because that's what I would always see. And then whenever I would watch YouTube videos, even whenever I took a course, it was pinching method. And I feel like every once in a while, I see the other kind of methods, like the shimmy and all the other ones that there is. But I feel like I didn't see that much. I guess
maybe they're newer.
I think maybe it is newer. I'm not sure really the reason, but it's like, again, if I watched on YouTube, the course that I did, everything else, it was like, it was only pinching. And again, whenever I did dedicate those couple months, I just worked on the pinching method. And then now it's like, that's what works for me. I tried the shimmy method and I tried other methods, and it just like, I feel like it's hard. It doesn't look hard whenever I see people do it. I'm like, that looks so easy.
It's like almost like a whole new skill to learn. Exactly. I guess it is a whole new skill to learn.
Yeah. But I would like to learn because, you know, I feel like to be a true master lash artist, and, you know, if one day I decide to, you know, teach other girls on how to lash and things like that, then I think you need to have a little bit of knowledge of everything. And so I would, even though I don't necessarily prefer the shimmy method or whatever other methods that there are, it's like I would at least want to know how to do it, and I can teach it. And then, you know, maybe again, it might not work for me, but for the next girl that I'm teaching, she loves the shimmy method, and it's like that's the one that she understands, you know. And for her, the pinching might just be absolute. Like, she doesn't get it. She hates it, you know. So
same with us, you know.
Exactly.
Find what you like.
Because what do you like the
flower?
shimmy?
I'm learning the flower bouquet method.
The bouquet method. Yeah.
I'm still learning, but that's.
But you're getting it down.
Kind of.
You're super getting it down.
We're getting there.
No, whenever you
I want to do it on the go because I really want to learn how to wrap them. Yeah. But that again, that's a whole new thing that I'm just learning. But it's fun that I can just keep learning. You know.
Because the pinching method doesn't work for you, right?
No, I tried that. I was scared.
You don't like it. Yeah. And then the shimmy is a lot different from the bouquet?
Then when you do it on the, I don't.
On the ridge,
I need to like do like some more research. I feel like some people do it kind of like they're making it fan it almost on the strip and then they pull it off.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah.
Whereas the flower bouquet, I think you can like do it on the glue ring, but I also think people just like pull it off like that and then do it.
And then
so I don't know if they're sort of the same.
I don't know either. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a lot of methods now, which is really nice because it's like there's more options for you to find out which style you like to go with more. You know,
just preference.
Yeah, exactly.
So keep trying different ones to kind of figure out which one you like the best.
Yeah.
So that would recommend.
But I mean, would you? Well, then I'm throwing the same question back at you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to learn, even though like you tried pinching but you hate it?
Well, I want to master this one first.
Mm-hmm.
And again, same as you, I wish like I really do. One of my goals is to be able to train people, and I do want to know how to do it. Although even if it's not, I'm not using it, but I would like to know how to do it. So once I master this one, I probably will start trying to learn.
Yeah.
And I probably will try to do the pinching method again, just to like, you know, at least
just to have that knowledge, right?
Yeah. That's where I'm at with
I agree. Okay, so we're on the same page then.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and tell me your number 3?
Yeah, my number 3 is creating good systems early on when I went on my own. As like my own
Lash boss girl.
Yeah, Lash boss.
Say it.
I do wish that some of the things I did, but I think, I mean, just to go over some that I think as a new artist, if you go on your own, like opening a business account, opening another account so you can take off your tax money and put it in that account, so when the taxes come, you have the money there, so you don't have to owe the government anything. Right. Keeping receipts. I think there's still systems that I want to get in place, you know, and be better at, like inventory and those things. But I think just to kind of be straight to the case, just making really good systems to keep the business running smoothly, even when I get really busy.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that I would definitely recommend that, just creating systems early on, right away, because if not, it's gonna get worse the more busy you get if you don't have good systems.
How'd you learn, or did you
learn as we go?
Yeah,
I think I've just learned as we go. I don't feel like, because me and you are doing it at the same time. I don't really have anyone else that I know that I've ever done anything like we're doing, and like having it all on our own. So I feel like for me, just kind of trying and failing, but I think systems is good no matter what you do, you know, and just habits, like creating good habits. So I feel like it's been trial and error.
So, okay, well, I guess let me ask you, because as a beginner, so you're saying like when you keep all your receipts, do you just save, or like on the email, if it's an electronic email, do you just snip it, save it to a file?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I go to the store and stuff and I get like paper ones, I have like a folder, so I put that in like January, February, March. Okay. I know my art booking app, Glass Genius, has like a thing you can actually put it in there. Each receipt. So I just want that is for safety if you get audited by like tax, like the government, you know, you have the receipt, that they know what you actually write in your office, stuff like that.
And how long is it that they can audit you for? Is it 7 years?
That I don't know.
I think it's I know it's like a few years. So even like kind of going on.
So like let's say they came today, it could have been audited from 7 years ago.
I think so.
Okay, that makes sense.
7 or
they know
5
know how
to
get it. So just keep your receipts. Just make sure. Not sure about how many years, but keeping that to protect yourself, I think it's important.
Yeah,
and then good business practice.
Right, and then it's like, okay, even whenever, well, I guess, well, it's not my number 3, but just saying what you're talking about. You know, so I know we use the same CPA this year to file our taxes. So it's like, even, you know, kind of what Malin is saying, it's like whenever you turn in all your tax stuff to that CPA, I mean, I'm saving my folder in my computer, you know, it's like I'm not trashing that at all, because it's like that has all my receipts, it has my spreadsheet, it has everything. So again, if God forbid I need wood in front of me, but if you know I were to ever get audited, you know, it's like, okay, I can refer back to that, I can go back to my CPA, you know, she approved everything, you know, whatever. Absolutely. So it's best, like how you're saying, just keep it on track, not to scare anyone, you know, but it's just good to know too.
Yeah. So. Also, I do believe that you don't have to go through the same mistakes as us. So if you can learn something from this, take it on. You don't have to learn the hard way. Okay. Yeah. We're trying to help you with our experience. And it's just it's a lot to learn. So if you can learn something from us, I hope you can. I hope you sort of have to go through the same struggles. And
then, I mean, okay, I know we're not even done with our list, but it's like, you know, everything has a lot of information within that one thing. You know, you're talking about your, you know, the system. It's like, okay, well, what system do you get into? And it's like, maybe, you know, okay, like I don't use it, but I've heard QuickBooks is really good for, you know, keeping up with
bookkeeping,
for bookkeeping, you know, and I think it's free, I believe.
I don't remember. I know I've looked at it before. We should actually probably make an episode about that. Yeah. Just different systems, because we do our point of our podcast is to really just help out.
Yeah.
And give you like.
And then we're
information
learning
we have.
again, also at the same
Oh,
time too.
yeah,
So
100%.
you know.
But that's what we want. We want it to be somewhere you can maybe learn from our mistakes, or maybe we, just brainstorm together and kind of hear ideas.
Yeah. Or then, or even talking about retention. It's like it's so easy to hear, oh, work on your retention, but it's like all like 20,000 things are tied under retention. So it's like we're saying these things, but even within these, your 5 things, my 5 things, there's still a lot of things that go into each one.
Absolutely.
Thing,
we can make a whole episode on any of these things.
Yeah.
Also, if you take something from this podcast that helped you, we would love for you to tell us. And we're gonna post this on YouTube and on Spotify. And we would love just feedback, of course. And if you have, please tell us if you have anything that helps you.
Yeah,
that'll make us feel like good and proud. Yeah. Or if something you didn't like, that too. We welcome criticism too.
Yeah, we're going.
So
we're open to it.
Are you on your third one?
I am on my third.
Okay, tell us that.
Okay, so my third is, well, it's kind of 2, but within 1. So it's getting a glue shaker / burping your glue. So I feel like I know there's some people that say that a glue shaker is a waste of time, waste of money, that you don't need it. I disagree. I think you do need it. I think it's just easier and faster to use.
Yeah, it's good.
Even if you get a vortex shaker, that's fine too. Just any kind of shaker. So the one that I got, it's from like Amazon. It literally just spins it, but instead of there shaking with my hand for, they say, oh, make sure you shake it well for a minute or, almost 2 minutes. It's like, when you're lashing, I feel like every second counts. Yeah. And I don't want to spend 2 minutes shaking a bottle, you know? And then also it's like, oh, well, when you shake it, make sure the top is off and da-da-da, and all these things. And it's just like, let me just press the button. Let me spin it for 30 seconds. Absolutely. And then it's done. And I know it's stirred up nicely and I can go ahead and start lashing.
And it doesn't make the nozzle all messed up.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love it too. I really do agree 100%. Yeah. And I would definitely get one.
Right. And then I think even with the Vortex, which is a more fancier shaker, I mean, that one is I think 10 seconds, 15 seconds that you just put it on there. It shakes it up super nicely and then you're done. So
because you shake it up because you want your glue to be all mixed together. Yeah. So it doesn't, so each ingredients are really mixed together how it's supposed to be. And if you don't, it separates. Yeah. So you want to do that. Yeah. So I agree. I stand by that 100% too.
Let me ask you this. Actually, okay, no. I'll ask you after the next one because it's actually my number 4. But then the other part is the burping the glue. I didn't know that part at all until I took a lash course. And I think that's actually super important. So anytime you take a couple drops from your glue into your glue ring or whatever you're using, you always want to burp it using, the lint-free...
cotton. Oh, it's not cotton. No, it's like a
lint-free square.
I don't remember the name of it. I know what you're talking about. They just don't get stuck to the adhesive.
Yeah, it's not cotton, so it doesn't make it messy. But after every use it, wipe it off, and it keeps your nozzle clean. It just makes it less messy. Because if not, the nozzle will get very messy. Sometimes it'll make the bottle hard to open. I don't know. Just
air gets in there.
Yeah, air can get there. If not, it can also make the glue at the very tip, which we can't see because it's inside. But inside the tip, it kind of like hardens. So then now you have to get the little needle, make another little hole. It's a mess. Yeah, it's a mess. So burp it every time.
So what you do when you burp it is just that you hold it like, I guess I hold it a little bit sideways, and I just push a little bit so you got kind of that air out of it, and you get that little left over glue if there is any. And that's when you just catch it with that little lint. Yeah. Not lint. I keep saying lint. But that little square thing. Yeah. Yeah, to kind of clean it off. And then you put the lid on.
Yeah. It literally is so fast. And it's just, and you'll see why it's called a burp, because it's almost like a little bubble just kind of splashes up. Or it might be 2 bubbles.
And you want that air to be out of the glue. So.
Yeah, exactly. It makes your glue last longer as well, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's a good one.
Yeah. So that is my number 3.
Well, my number 4 is... And I've been good at this at times, but when I was in esthetician schools, when I already opened my Instagram.
Oh yeah, you were. Hold on, pause. Let me tell you guys, Malin was the number 1 student in our class. Like she was on top. Like day 2, she had her Instagram up. She had business cards. She had
so
a
funny we did that.
website. She
Oh,
was
it's
on top
fun.
of it. She finished like her hours before anyone else finished.
You know, I wanted to get it done. I was like,
Seriously.
let me start working.
Yeah, I love it.
I've
Okay,
been
go ahead
trying.
and continue.
So I did start it early, which I'm actually really thankful
No,
for right
yeah,
now.
for sure.
And I've had definitely so. It was really hard for me to post. Like in school, it was a little easier because we were in school all those days. But when I was done with school and I didn't do anything, I was in between like jobs and stuff. Like I feel like, and even when I started my job, my first job after, I just didn't have that much time. I didn't know what to put on there, like what content to make. So then I was good in school to post consistently. Then I wasn't once I was graduated. Then I started making a system, so I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's when I was going to do my posting, because that way I knew that I was like, these days come. I don't even think about it. I made it like a habit to start posting. Now I try to do it every single day, but it got easier the more I did it. And also, if I miss one day, I'm trying not to be so hard on myself. It's like, okay, like I don't want to be on Instagram or whatever all the time. But doing that, like keep doing it consistently, is going to make it, first of all, easier to post. And also, it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, because then you won't do it. We just overthink too much, you know?
You're talking directly to me.
No, I am. I am. And like, and your Instagram looks amazing. But also just remembering, give yourself grace. Like, it is not going to look 100% perfect all the time. Sometimes we're not going to have as much content, but I think just getting out of our head and just posting something, I do really think there's a lot of power in that. And when you do that on one platform, if like, I wish I would have started YouTube and TikTok sooner. I'm trying, but not as consistent, because it's like I want to do more different content on those. But again, give yourself grace. Try to post something like every day. And just, I don't know, just that had got me a lot of clients.
Yeah.
So
No, your Instagram is thriving big time.
Thank you.
And I will say, Mom speaking directly to me on that, because my Instagram, I super overthink my content. And
you're not perfection.
I guess I am. I didn't know that about myself until I got
That's
into
okay.
the lash industry.
Live and learn.
But but I will say, it's like, okay, whenever I do get in the rhythm of things, it's like, okay, I'm posting a little bit more consistently, and what is it, boosting my post as well, then it's like, okay, I can see a difference for sure. So
sorry, a little difficulty. I was just checking.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, technical difficulty. But we're back.
Okay, we're good.
We're just gonna speed it up a little bit.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't die.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you just want to go ahead? Oh wait, what number were you on?
I did 4.
You did 4. Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Well, just to repeat myself, I would just, if you're just starting off, or you're thinking about starting lashing, or if you're an artist that have already started, just learn like creating systems again. Maybe you say, I'm going to post 2 times a week. Maybe I post 3 times a week. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just don't overthink it. Just post something, whether it is taking a photo of your station, making a little video of your setup. Anything really helps. And before and after photos, just some ideas. But I would just definitely recommend that.
Love it. I will
and you've
do
been
that today.
And Jenny, you've been doing good too. You've been doing good.
Thanks.
But we learned. That's what.
Yeah,
like,
we're
challenging
learning.
us, you know,
for sure.
All right.
Okay, my number 4 is going back to the glue or adhesive. I would say to change your adhesive every 30 minutes, or about every 30 minutes. To me, I didn't know that, and I then started hearing about it maybe a year in, and then I kind of still didn't really get it, because my glue wasn't getting tacky. It's not like you could visibly see it. But again, this kind of goes back to retention. You know, this is one thing. So I change my glue every 30 minutes, or for sure if I see it getting tacky, or even if that happens within 20 minutes, it's like, okay, well, dang, that sucks, but all right, whatever. It's like, I'm not gonna fight it or whatever, because I'm only making it more difficult on myself. Because one, you'll notice the lashes are not sticking on that well. You'll notice that it's just hard, it's just messier. You can get more stickies that way. There's just so much that goes into it. And then, there's nothing like a freshly glued job where it just goes, so smooth, it's thin, it applies so nicely. So that is one that I would highly recommend. Even if you can bump it up to maybe 40 minutes, still, that's pretty okay, you know what I'm saying? But just changing your glue out kind of consistently throughout any set, every set, highly recommend. It's going to help out with retention. It's just going to, again, you know that it's fresh glue. It's good.
I did not learn that either. And I mean, now I do it because you taught me that, but I didn't know that either. Yeah. I didn't learn that.
You don't really learn that.
It is a really important thing. And you want our retention to be good.
Yeah. And then, again, I mean, if you notice it getting even a little bit stringy, or maybe the border of the glue ring is starting to kind of get, I don't know, like clumpy, you know, looking, whatever.
It's starting to cure.
Yeah, it's starting to cure. And it's like, okay, I mean, that, and then I think, what is it? It starts from the bottom more or something like that?
Whenever I have in my glue, like I always, because I have one of those that split in two. Yeah. It starts in the corner, like where it's like thinner, I guess. And then it keeps going through.
Really? Okay. So I usually use like the
whole round one.
Yeah,
that makes sense then.
Well, yeah, no, I'm lying. It is the two, because it's like the heart one or whatever.
I always notice it in the corner. I think just because it's like, you know, like it's in the corners, it's like less glue right there.
Yeah,
so it starts curing.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's more like on the border of it.
On the corners.
Yeah, and then it just slowly starts getting all of it. But regardless, I do think that it starts on the border, but I think it's also from underneath, like in the bottom of the glue ring.
Or because it's like the heat from my fingers and stuff too. I'm sure that has something to do with it.
So it's like, regardless, it's not going to help at all. So
just change that glue.
Yeah, change it. And then, okay, this is the question I was going to ask you. Whenever you do change your glue, do you shake your glue every time?
Yeah. I don't shake it as long. I don't shake it for a minute.
Yeah.
I don't, when I do my drops again during a set, I just shake it in my hand. I don't use the glue shaker.
Okay.
Just because usually my hands are usually sleeping. And because I know I have just used it. Yeah. But before every set I do it, but one in between I usually just shake it. You do? For like 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Oh, okay. Okay, see, I also shake my glue for any drop that I use. But I guess, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'll shake it with my hand. Yeah. But it's pretty rare. I will sit there. I don't care.
I mean, the other one. I'm like, no, the other one.
But yeah, I won't do it as long as same. I won't do it for a full minute or whatever it is. I'll do it like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. Like, okay, cool, you know, and then go again, burp it, and there.
Smart.
You know, so
same. Take care of that glue, because that is the most important thing we're working with. You know?
Yeah. And then especially if you have high humidity, then your glue is going to cure a lot quicker and get
absolutely.
Tacky, so
just change it.
Yeah, change it.
Okay.
Last one.
My last one is, when I first started, I just didn't do this, but I'm a really big advocate for this, like how to properly sit when you lash, properly have your hand, have your neck. This really helps you in like your body lashing. Yeah. And when I first started, I had no idea. I was too shy to ask the client to move up. Now I'm like, come more up. I need you more up. I need you more up. Come up. Yeah. You know, even if they're sleeping and they kind of slide down, like, you know, sometimes they move and stuff. I'm like, hey, you need to come more up. If I don't have the client far enough up, it's gonna hurt my neck. And that's when I know. I know it right away. I'm like, nope, this doesn't feel right. Yeah. Same with just how to sit. Sit properly up, like try to not like, you know, like lean your shoulders too much forward. Yeah. So I do think for me that is it's probably actually my number one. Yeah. If I ever can give an advice, definitely just make sure your form is correct when you lash, so you can be in this industry for a long time. Because that really can mess us up. We already have pain in our neck from just sitting on our phones.
Your back, your hands.
And we're sitting on top of that. We're hours and hours sitting like that. So having proper ergometrics, I think it's called. Do that. Also just stretch in the doorway. Like do things that can help you, like, you know, like stretch out your shoulders and stuff. Yeah, your wrists. And working out always helps strengthen those muscles. But that is definitely my number one. Just help, like do that right from the beginning so you get into it.
So you use a good chair though, right?
I use a saddle chair.
Do you feel like it's helped you compared to other chairs that you've used?
Yeah, I love it. And I'm trying to just keep my feet planted, like my whole sole on the floor. Sometimes I don't, but I really try to sit like that, because then like my spine is nice and neutral. Yeah. Again, having my chair either far enough up or far enough down as I need, depending on the client. But yeah.
Do you like the person for you to be very close, pretty much like not eye level to their lashes, but like very close? So do you like to be more at a higher level and kind of look down?
I don't want it too high. It's like it's a fine line for me. Yeah. I need to I feel like I need to have someone right in front of me to kind of know exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be too far up because then like if I have to bend my neck too much forward,
Right.
that's gonna hurt. If I'm too far down, I'm not gonna be able to see like necessarily those lashes, especially like you showed on my left side.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a fine line there. I think I have them up to like around my chest.
Yeah.
So I still like lean a little bit forward, but not enough for it to really strain my neck.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
So kind of try to have like a straight line, sort of from like from my neck and down to my hips, like to my tailbone, I guess.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But you like your chair?
I do like my chair. I like my chair a lot. Someone messed up my chair. We won't talk about that.
Yeah,
personal life, but I do like the chair. I mean, I think it's comfortable. I've heard some people say that settle chair might hurt them a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard that. Sometimes they hurt their hips and stuff. Maybe they have like tightnesses and stuff. But I love it.
Yeah, I've never felt an issue with it. I like it.
We will link all of these. We will link the chair and stuff in our bio.
Yeah, got it from Amazon.
On YouTube and probably on Spotify, or if you just if you want us to send it to you, just get a hold of us on Instagram.
We can send it to you directly.
Yep.
But yeah, I like the chair that I use. So, and I mean, for now,
I'll keep that forever.
But I will say though, because there do come some settle chairs that's just a chair for you to sit on, and then the one that comes with the back support.
Yeah.
I would always have a back support.
I like the back support.
I can't imagine just only sitting on a chair and not having any sort of back support. Yeah. Even though I feel like my back doesn't really touch it like too often, or I don't think.
I feel like it's more in between clients for me. Like
just kind of
you're sitting back a little bit,
right?
But I agree with you. I don't ever sit more forward. You know, if you're working. So, but I agree with you. I want the one with the back.
With the backrest, yeah.
All right, tell me your last one.
Okay, so my last one is actually pretty similar to yours as well. So mine is lash bed comfortability. So Mala knows I super struggled trying to find like the perfect comfortable setup for not only my clients but for myself. And I mean, one, I feel like a client's comfortability should be prioritized because if they are not comfortable, they're going to say, hey, my neck hurts, my back hurts, whatever. They start getting super like squirmy-ish. You're trying to still lash, and then you start to like, you know that they're ready to get up and go because they are not comfortable. And then so it starts to put you in a rush. And it is just something that you just want to avoid if you can, for sure. Yeah.
You can tell if they're uncomfortable.
Oh, and they will say it. If they don't say it, they will. They will eventually. Actually,
some people though it's sad. Some people don't. It's not sad, but some people won't. Yeah. So if you see that they're uncomfortable, and be like, hey, can we adjust something? Like,
are you okay?
Some people I feel like they maybe not. They probably don't. Maybe they don't know that, or maybe it just stinks a little bit. If I tell them they're uncomfortable, I really try to tell them and like check in, be like, hey, let me know if you're uncomfortable. Like we can move you up if you have to sit up for a little bit. Like something just to make them better. Because if they're miserable, you're gonna be miserable.
Oh, you're gonna be super miserable.
Struggling and stressing.
And then you're gonna be like, let me just wrap this up as fast as I can. You're rushing your set. Again, it's all the things that you don't want to happen. So.
And we can list that. We can list that on our thing too. We can find the beds that we have, like those little toppers we have.
Yeah.
We will link that too, like our little pillows, because we use different things.
Yeah.
And so that way you guys can at least get what we have and what works for us. So it is.
We could create a video showing how we have fun. Yeah, our setup.
Let's do that.
We could do that. But yeah, and then just kind of going back really quickly. So like whenever I started lashing, again, I was working for a company and their beds, I would get complaints all the time.
The neck pillows.
The neck pillows were so bad. And then again, I mean, as a beginner, your mind's going so much like a million miles an hour just because you're thinking of all these things you already have to think of. And then you're, maybe an hour in or not even, you still have like another hour and a half to go until your appointment time's over. But they're, the client's super uncomfortable. They're hurting. They're squirming around and it's like, and it's just not good. And again, like a lot of those clients, they would say, they're like, my neck hurts. I'm like, okay, well, let's remove the little pillow.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, that's better. But still, now it's like the back of their head is hurting, because now it's like there's no support there. And so
wow, I almost forgot about that, like how miserable they were. They really were miserable.
They were so miserable. And then people would say like, is there anything, like you don't have another pillow? And it's like, again, I mean, this is not our studio, this is a company. And and it's like, let me try to find, I think we had like one extra one, but then it's like that pillow, it was comfortable for them, but as a lash artist would not help at all. No. You know what I'm saying? Then it just made it even harder on my end. So then it's like, now, like how Malin is saying this, like now I'm bending my back a lot. My back hurts,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like I don't even know at that point too. Then it's like, okay, the placement might not even be right because, you know, I'm just trying to like, my back is hurting so bad. It's like, let me just throw these lashes on.
Opens a whole can of worms.
You start sweating. You know, you're like, this person can hear.
Listen, how many times have that not happened to you? Every time I stress all of the time, or like I can't get one area, or
man,
if there's a hard area I haven't noticed, I was like, every time I start stressing out, my body heat is just like,
oh, in a second, I swear, my hands get so seriously.
Common struggles, guys.
No, really. And then the person will be so comfortable, and you're just like in sweat. Like your hands are sweaty, your back is sweating, everything. It's just like, oh my god, like someone turn on the air.
It's so terrible.
Real quick, I remember whenever that would happen, whenever I would be fanning them, I would just like, okay, let me fan them, and then put it down. I'm like, let me cool off. Oh my gosh.
Because it helps.
Yeah, but it's like you need to.
That is so
you know, it's like the struggle is for real. Like you just you get these
I bet everybody who's listening have had the same moment.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, oh,
it's just
shit,
it just comes in like hot. It's crazy.
It really comes in.
Yeah, and then also again going back to the lash bed and stuff. Once I did decide to go off on my own, I kept seeing things of people advertising or really trying to push on getting a recliner. And me, without ever even testing it on someone, I was like, I'm jumping all in. Let me get a recliner. I spent a lot of money because I bought a nice recliner. And then it's like, you know, I had to build a base. And actually, Malin and her husband helped me build a base.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And, you know, and then immediately, like, I did not like it. Going back again to Malin's point, like, I was bending my back super, like, even more further than I've ever. I was like super like hunchback. It was hard for me just to do it, and even though the recliner is comfortable, some people want to be like, if you're in a recliner, you want to be super like laid back and stuff, and it, like I couldn't have them that way. I had to have them propped up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So they're still not as, I guess, reclined as they typically would be on a chair.
I can see that.
So that was a whole mess. Again, I was so stressed at that time because I was like, I cannot figure it out. I just spent so much money on this chair. Thankfully, Malin had an extra bed and she gave it to me, and it's been such a game changer. I ended up just adding like a couple of blankets on it, a foam topper, a neck support
pillow. Like a memory foam, right?
And all these things I think I got from Amazon and Walmart. For majority of it, I think the most expensive thing is the bed. You know, everything else was like.
And the bed wasn't even that. The one that you have wasn't even that expensive. It was $100.
Yeah,
on Amazon.
And so many.
And you made it feel so. It feels so comfortable.
It feels super comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And every time you does my lashes.
And that's the thing too. It's like so many girls now are like, oh, this is so comfortable, and they knock out. You know, and it's just like it is such a relief for me knowing like, okay, they're comfortable, and now I'm comfortable. You know, because again. If your client's not comfortable, you are absolutely not going to be comfortable either.
Absolutely.
And again, if a recliner works for you, it works for you. Like there's some people that love it, you know? Again, for me, I tried it, did not like it at all. And I ended up going back to lash bed. It's just how you make the lash bed. You know, if you just leave the bed as it is, as a massage bed, it's like, that's going to be uncomfortable. You know, like you just have to invest in
for sure
those little things to make it cushiony and just, you know, imagine like if you're going to be laying down for a couple hours, you want it to be super comfortable.
So you know that new blanket I bought? So I bought this blanket. I can't remember the name of it, but I can see if I can find it and I post it too. But I bought it just a few weeks ago. It's like that. If you guys have seen my Instagram, like it's that like fluffy one. Every single client I've been like, this is so comfortable because it adds like, my bed is pretty cushioned and good. But it adds that like fluff to it almost. And everybody loves it. They're like passed out.
And it's not hot. It's like, it's not a hot blanket. It's just soft and it's almost cooling, not necessarily super cooling, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, I remember whenever I saw it in the studio, I like just put my hands through it. And I was like, ooh, I was like, this is so nice.
You know, I had one of my clients the other day, we were talking, I don't remember what we were talking about, but she had her hand on the side and I could tell she was just like,
just enjoying it.
I was like, I love it. She was like, I want this blanket. And I was like,
it's so nice. I love it.
So I will see if I can find it and do it, but those small little things that you put on your bed, things like that can really be helpful. just the comfort is extremely important.
Yeah, for yourself and your client.
100%.
And again, I mean, if your client's not comfortable, you're not comfortable, and then even
vice versa.
Mm-hmm. If they're comfortable but you're not comfortable, you're gonna struggle.
Absolutely.
So
well, that is all we have for our 5 things that we wish we knew as beginner lash artists. We would love to hear from you if you have any questions about any of the things that we have talked about. If you need any suggestions, things that maybe you have something that you want to try, ask us questions. You can reach out to us again on Spotify. You can comment on YouTube. We are both on Instagram a lot, so you can anywhere you can find on any platform. We are on all of them. Ask us questions.
What's your Instagram?
It's just at norwegianskinandlash, just all in one word.
And then mine's at uriluxe.aesthetics.
Yep. So you can find us on there, and also I will link that on all our platforms. So if you find us one, like you should be able to find us on all the other ones. But we would love to hear from you, and even if it's just how you liked it, okay? And if we are helping you in any way, we would love that. That's our goal. So
that is our goal. And or even if it's like maybe you haven't even started lashing, but you want to hear as much information as you can before you decide to get into this. It's like, let us know that too.
Let us know. So. Honestly, we are here to help you guys. So it's easier for you than it was when we started. We have been in it, so we can maybe help with any questions you have.
And again, we are learning at the same time. We are not, I mean, we're we have experience. We're not super beginners, and we're not, the master lash artist that there is either. We don't have 15 years under our belt. True. So, again, we're all in this together, guys.
Yep, exactly. We're here to help. Yeah. But thank you guys.
Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.
Love y'all. Bye.